Hello everyone, hope you are well on a Sunday afternoon. Mrs. Dog and I had a good day yesterday. We visited a local festival out here, not far from where we live. And it was a good crowd out there. It was a little warm, a little too hot for me, but I mean, it got up well into the 80s, but it was nice. We enjoyed it. Like I said, the crowd, it was a pretty good crowd. It was good. People looked like they were enjoying it. I think people just really are wanting to do something like that just to get away from the craziness of today, these days, you know. So, and they had arts and crafts out there, of course, food vendors. There was live music. There was the living history exhibits and such as that. So it was just a great time for us. So if you have a chance to do that, get out and do that if you have something, you know, if you're able. I encourage you to do that. I want to talk about something that, and I've mentioned this before, but something similar, but I want to talk about something that I believe is on the way to destroying civilization as we know it. As we know it, here, right here in this country, and really everywhere. But we have we have a lot of issues, of course, in the country, but this one I think is pressing right now too, as well. We hear about the economy and the political strife and, you know, the corruption and all that's terrible, yes. But I believe crime. I believe that the crime waves it's an epidemic beyond control. It's beyond control right now. I believe we are so close to. We really have a in my opinion, I think we're in a de facto without rule of law right now. Right now we are. And I believe we are in danger of that increasing to a point to where it's more than just a Wild West situation. I think it's even deeper than that. That's how that's my opinion right now. Stay tuned. Before I get any deeper, stay tuned. I have a very good passage from the Bible that I believe is very relevant and resonates with these days. Okay. I was just reading over some statistics earlier, and it is eye-popping, y'all. I mean, and this is just what's being reported, but New Orleans. Now, going through this, I'm concentrating mostly in the United States right now, but New Orleans, Louisiana, now in the South. It's on pace to have one of the highest murder rates in the world. In the world now. Just since June of this year, they've had 145 murders just since June 30th. Okay. They have overtaken, they are statistically the murder capital of the United States right now. They have overtaken that dubious honor from St. Louis, Missouri. It's just unreal there. New York City has issues, of course, we know. I was reading about how this was the other night, I think, a man terrorized the McDonald's customers with axe wield. He was wielding an axe just on a rampage. Portsmouth, Virginia. I don't know what's going on at Portsmouth, Virginia, but two young men, home invasion, held an elderly couple at gunpoint, robbed them. Luckily, that couple was not harmed. High school football. What is going on with high school football in this country? It's nationwide, y'all. It's not just one state. It's not just California. Now, I read an article on Zero Hedge not long ago about the epidemic, the crime epidemic in California, and it's so out of control there. But it's not just California, it's everywhere, just to be fair to them. But high school football, I was reading this earlier this morning. Maryland, okay, in Maryland, high school football games have been put on hold there because of a large brawl that took place during a game now. And it started on the field, led to other fights. This is in Gaithersburg, between Gaithersburg and Northwest. This is in Montgomery County, Maryland. I'm not familiar with that area, but There's a video, if you just Google high school fights, high school football game fights, it comes up, man. I mean, it's unreal. They're not the only ones. Texas, they're having problems. High school football brawl ends in with everyone being ejected. Now, this was Dallas, Fort Worth area. It sounds like Dallas, Roosevelt, between Roosevelt and Fort Worth Eastern Hills schools. Started on the field. The players got into it, and then the people in the stands just jumped in, and it just went on and on. It's not like a couple of security people or cops can stop this. They had to wait for more cops to come. Okay, so you can imagine. I mean, there's a video on that too. I mean, it is just frightening. I mean, it is unreal. Okay, that's not the only place. You have similar instances happening. Arizona, Georgia, of course, Georgia, Modesto, California, Augusta, Georgia, Columbia, South Carolina. What's going on in Columbia, South Carolina? So there's that. Starbucks is closing 16 stores. Just here recently, I read 6 in Los Angeles, California, because of safety issues, quote unquote safety issues. There can be more than that to that than just crime, but that's what they're saying. Also, and this is a sad story. This is happened in Baton Rouge, Louisiana. An LSU student, a senior, a young lady, was found dead in her car, shot up. Sounded like it was at a railroad crossing where she was waiting overnight or late at night, waiting for a train to pass. She was found Friday morning. Her car was riddled with bullets. She was dead. Sounds like something from The Godfather. Sounds like a mafia hit. I mean, this young lady is a senior in college. I mean, probably just trying to get home. I think the problems, and these are just some examples. Now, these are just examples of things that are being reported, and that's just a small sampling of that. I could have gone on for hours about it. You know, if you just look up crime, I mean, just read about it. It's endless. It is endless. I think the problem is multiple. It's multifaceted. I mean, I think the biggest thing that screams out to me is, especially in the large cities, well, even the smaller ones, is it's being allowed. It's these criminals, the predators, are not being held accountable. There's no fear. They can do this. They can get away with it, and they know even if they get caught, there's no bail. Like in Illinois, a lot of places, you know, they're just released. Unreal. I mean, so I think that's a big part of it. Another is societal, breakdown of the family. You know, it's a lot of things, and now the economy's not helping. You know, especially with the nonviolence, with robberies and the shoplifting. I know in one of my recent videos, Hidden Prepper made a comment in her part of where she lives, in her area, and it's known as an area that's not very, you know, crime is not a big issue, or has not been any big issue there. She said that they noticed or had heard about a big robbery or shoplifting at Costco right in the middle of the day, where people just went right out with a bunch of stuff, you know, tried to get out, and I think they were caught later on, but just brazen stuff. I mean, and I think we're going to see a lot more of that, especially as this economy, you know, we get more unemployment, and people become increasingly desperate. They feel like they have nothing to lose. I think you're going to see a lot more of that, maybe from people who are not historically criminal. You know, they don't have a record. So especially with the shoplifting, I mean, so I believe we're going to see a lot more of that for sure. Okay, I've rambled enough about that. I have a good passage I want to share with you. This comes from Galatians chapter 5, and it's towards the end of the book. The whole chapter is great, of course, but the part what I'm going to read is Galatians 5, verse 16 through 25. So bear with me, but it's really good. it's talking about the life by the Spirit. So it says, so I say, walk by the Spirit, and you will not gratify the desires of the flesh. For the flesh desires what is contrary to the Spirit, and the Spirit is what is contrary to the flesh. They are in conflict with each other, so that you are not to do whatever you want. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. The acts of the flesh are obvious: sexual immorality, impurity, debauchery, idolatry, witchcraft, hatred, discord, jealousy, fits of rage, selfish ambition, dissensions, factions, envy, drunkenness, orgies, and the like. I warn you, as I did before, that those who live like this will not inherit the kingdom of God. I mean, in our society, it seems like we're seeing more and more of that, and it's increasing exponentially right now. And then the last part of it, but the fruit of the Spirit is love, joy, peace, forbearance, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, and self-control. Against such things there is no law. Those who belong to Christ Jesus have crucified the flesh with its passions and desires. Since we live by the Spirit, let us keep in step with the Spirit. Let us not become conceited, provoking, and envying each other. I think that last part is, it's the way we need to be the example. Don't be part of the madness. Don't get drawn into it. If you watch a lot on social media, it's trumpeting, it's championing all the negative, all the bad stuff. Okay? So let's be the example of peace and love. I'm not saying don't defend yourself. I think a big part of everything I've said here is we need to have a plan. We need to be able to have a way to defend ourselves, because this is it's increasing, and it will increase. And as Christians, we will get the arrows. You know that. So I hope you got something out of this. Share your thoughts. Please be aware out there. Please be careful when you go out. Try not to go out alone if you can, and protect yourself. But be safe. God bless you. I will see you soon.